She doesn't chase, she attracts. And the moment you understand why, everything you thought you knew about love, power, and identity collapses in the most delicious way. I want you to listen closely, because this is the sentence that separates women who feel chosen from women who feel magnetic. Chasing is an action. Attraction is an identity. And identities pull worlds toward them without effort, explanation, or apology. I learned this the night I watched a woman walk into a room wearing nothing loud, nothing desperate, nothing performative. Yet every man adjusted his posture when she passed. Not because she was trying, but because she had already decided who she was before anyone else could decide for her. And that decision hummed in her body like a quiet authority. Most women are taught to chase outcomes, reassurance, clarity, commitment because nobody ever taught us to build the self that outcomes naturally orbit. And psychology has always known this truth, even when dating culture ignored it. Because the human nervous system responds to coherence, not effort, to presence, not pursuit. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And in modern dating, that unconscious script looks like overgiving, overtexting, over-explaining, believing that love is something you earn instead of something that recognizes you. Attraction begins the moment you stop negotiating your worth in real time. The moment you stop adjusting yourself to be palatable, understandable, digestible, and instead become anchored in a self-image so stable that other people feel it before they can name it. This is why chasing repels, not because desire is wrong, but because chasing announces uncertainty. And uncertainty is loud, while certainty is silent and devastatingly seductive. When you know who you are, you don't rush, you don't prove, you don't audition, because auditions are for people who haven't claimed the role yet. And the woman who attracts has already cast herself as the lead. I'm not talking about playing hard to get. I'm talking about being impossible to rush, impossible to manipulate, impossible to ignore. Because your identity is no longer built around being chosen. It's built around being sovereign. If this is already stirring something in you, stay with me. Because by the end of this, you won't just understand attraction. You will feel it settle into your posture, your voice, your boundaries, and the way you move through the world. Let's go deeper. Because identity psychology is where the real power lies. And the women who attract don't do more. They remove contradictions from who they believe they are. Every time you chase, you are splitting yourself in two. The self who wants and the self who fears losing. And that split creates friction that others feel immediately. While attraction happens when desire and self-respect move in the same direction. I've watched women rewrite their dating lives without changing their looks, their strategy, or their availability. Simply by changing the internal sentence from I hope he chooses me to I observe who qualifies for access to me. And the shift is electric because observation is power and pursuit is surrender. Neuroscience backs this quietly. The brain is drawn to signals of stability, consistency, and self-direction because those signals imply safety and value. And when you embody them, people lean in without knowing why. This is why the woman who attracts doesn't over-explain her boundaries. She enforces them calmly, because she is not trying to be understood. She is being expressed. And there is a profound difference. Nietzsche said the most dangerous thing you can do is know yourself. Because once you do, you stop being easily led. And in dating, that looks like not chasing potential, not chasing chemistry, not chasing breadcrumbs dressed up as hope. The attracting woman doesn't wait anxiously. She lives fully, not as a performance, but as a declaration. And paradoxically, that fullness creates absence. The kind of absence that makes others wonder where they stand with you. Notice how different that feels from manipulation. Because manipulation is about control, while attraction is about clarity. You're not withholding. You're aligned. And alignment is intoxicating. This is where I gently remind you. If this is resonating, if you're realizing how often you've chased from fear instead of desire, subscribe, turn on notifications, because Femphoria isn't about tactics. It's about identity upgrades. the kind that ripple into every relationship you touch. The woman who attracts doesn't disappear to be missed. She becomes so grounded in her own life that missing her becomes inevitable. And even when someone doesn't rise to meet her, she doesn't shrink to follow them down, because her self-concept is no longer negotiable. This is the psychological hack nobody markets, because it can't be sold as a quick trick. You attract what you believe you are worthy of, without rushing the timeline to prove it. Here's the truth I want etched into you so deeply, you never unlearn it. She doesn't chase because chasing would require her to abandon herself. And she attracts because she refuses to. Attraction is not about being aloof. It's about being anchored. Not about playing cold, but about being warm without leaking. Generous without self-erasure. Open without self-betrayal. The woman who attracts understands that attention is cheap, but access is sacred. And she moves accordingly. Not with arrogance, but with precision. She doesn't convince. She invites. She doesn't demand. She discerns. And her life becomes a filter instead of a plea. Over time, something remarkable happens. The anxiety fades. The overthinking quiets. The need to be chosen dissolves. And what remains is a woman who knows that her presence is enough. Her standards are instructions. And her energy teaches others how to treat her without a single speech. One day Yao will look back and realize the moment everything changed wasn't when someone committed, texted back, or explained themselves. It was when you stopped chasing identities that didn't match your own and started embodying the woman who attracts by default. If you feel this landing, comment "I needed this," because naming the shift anchors it. And women who anchor their identity don't drift back into old patterns. This is your reminder that attraction is not something you force. It's something you become. And once you do, the world rearranges itself to meet you there.